Hey everybody, welcome back. Survivor recap.
Yay, Survivor!
And if you notice, we have a guest.
We do?
We
Oh, yeah, hi.
MCGamer turns out is a huge Survivor fan as well. So welcome MCGamer to the recap show.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. I've been watching Survivor since I can't even remember. Well, I'll probably make you feel too old if I tell you
I was about
how
to say,
young I
you're
was.
young, aren't you? Like, how old were you when the show first started? Like season one?
Like, I had to be like inside like first or second grade or something, like earlier than that
Wow.
even maybe. But I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the guy fall in the fire and my mom being like, "Oh,
Mike.
what's going on here?" Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I don't even remember
Your
all
first
that,
memory of Survivor as a young child is if I go on this show, I will fall in a fire.
and I actually want to go in. So hey, maybe one day, that'd be cool.
So before we get into this week's episode, Guude, I realized I hadn't seen Pearl Island after we talked about it last
Did you
time.
watch it?
I was like, okay, Pearl Island, I've seen Rupert, I've seen all this stuff. I'm going to go watch Pearl Island and make sure that I'm like caught up with this, thing. Nope, haven't seen the entire season. So I've
Oh my
watched.
God, that would be so amazing. It would be like finding hidden treasure. There's a whole season of Survivor you've never seen.
I'm
That's a good one too.
I'm 10 minutes away from the end, but I know who won. I remember who won that season, so that part doesn't matter to me as much. However, what we talked about last week, Rupert's kind of a dick in that season, and you think it was the season he was like
He was
the
badass.
best.
He was a badass. Okay, you know what? I don't really remember exactly. All I remember is a man come on the show, and for the first time, someone was actually fishing like every single day and coming back with like fish bigger than babies. Like
No, he was definitely the provider. He provided a lot of fish, but in a
It's never
very
happened again. I think Ozzy kind of came close to doing something like that, but no one else has ever been.
well, at least when Ozzy did it in a like, hey, I'm providing for my tribe. Rupert did it, even though I understand the strategy behind it, but after a while it became his spear and his hook or whatever at the end. Everything was his. He was
Yeah,
kind of
right.
he was kind of
How-
a jerk.
How early of a season was Pearl Island in the way?
Season 7.
Okay, so that was like pretty early, like when they first started getting into the whole beach side of things a lot, right? 'Cause
Right.
They hadn't really gotten into doing beach stuff. Now all we see is beaches, but
Right. This got brought up because last week, Good, you were telling me about the fact that Rupert stole like a whole boatload of things, and I was like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about, Good. So I really wanted to see that. That I gotta say, that was a brilliant play. However, I don't know how much you remember of the season. That never came back to like help them or haunt them at all.
Really?
He sold everybody else's shoes. And it never came up again. It was like, yeah,
Did they not have not shoes?
no, they didn't like because that was the one where they had bags on the boat. They didn't let them take the bags with them because they told them like, "Ha, we fooled you. You're not going for a PR stunt. You're actually going out on the island right now with just everything on your back." And then Jeff said, "I took the liberty of going through your bags and getting out your tennis shoes though, so you have a chance at the challenges." But then
why don't they do that stuff like that anymore?
I know,
It's like
it's-
fool 'em.
Yeah,
that stuff that they did, like watching some of the ways that they, because that was the season apparently also, which I never knew before, they brought back a tribe of outcasts to take on the two different tribes. Like people who got voted out came back in for a challenge and
Forgot
got
about that.
voted back onto the game. They've never
Yeah.
done anything like that since.
Well, Redemption Island, but
Well, I mean,
But this
sort.
was like previous season people, right?
right, yeah.
Well, no, this was the same season, but
Oh.
it wasn't really Redemption Island. They literally like lived out on Ponderosa.
Oh,
or
that's right.
whatever
They had a whole
for,
separate
like-
tribe we didn't that no one knew about until like the very end. And all of a sudden, here they all are again.
Yep. Yeah, like
Right,
the
I
one
forgot
chick who
about
came
that.
back in, who's going to go to the finals, is somebody who was out of the game for 9 days. So literally for 9 days of the game, she was like, "I'm eating steak.
I mean,
I'm
I was
eating
not
They
lobster."
were on a separate part of the island, remember? Or you just saw it, you would know better. But were they were still in Survivor. They were just,
It
it was
never-
basically, they had a big exile island.
It never
basically.
said that, but maybe.
That's how I imagine. I didn't imagine them like at Ponderosa the whole time.
I mean,
I think that would be kind of unfair if they weren't actually also surviving because they didn't
Yeah.
last 39 days or whatever.
I
you
would
know?
completely agree that it would be unfair, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay attention to that part because I wasn't expecting it. So I was
Because everyone plays better at the beginning of the game, and they're all their emotions are higher, and everybody's happy. Everybody's still at least a little bit well fed. So.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but it's so Pearl Island, I cannot believe I missed that season. It is a great season that I'm watching so far. Makes me sad for some of the old things they used to do in Survivor that I wish they would bring back and make it a little bit more entertaining. You know, stealing stuff, getting off the boat, and having to like go barter for everything you're going to start with. That's a fantastic idea. I bring it back. Hashtag bring it back. Or something. But anyways, this week's episode was a double episode.
2 of them. Why'd they do that? I don't know. Normally I know why, but I was like, oh, is there going to be an hour recap or something? You know, they've stopped doing the recaps. I'm glad they don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah, did you even know it was a double before?
No, I didn't know until it was like, oh,
Yeah.
2 hours of Survivor.
Yeah.
I went on and I clicked it on Amazon and I was like, all right, time to watch. So I'm like, what the? Oh my God, I'm going to be up until 7 a.m. watching this now. Like,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I had absolutely no idea, and it was I'm Wednesday nights. I'm at my fire station. I just turned on the TV, went through the guide before we got a call, and I was like, "Oh look, there's Survivor. I'm gonna watch that when I get home." And I was like, "And there's Survivor again afterwards. That's kind of weird." But then I made the fatal mistake of listening to the comments, and not that you guys did anything wrong in the comments. You guys told me something that I really wanted to go look up, but unfortunately the episode had aired. And when I went to the CBS Survivor website to look this thing up, it has updated with all the new information that happened, and I instantly got spoiled on the people who were voted out, and I was sad.
Ooh.
So 2 hours worth of episodes, I knew the end game before I even started watching because I went to the website.
It's kind of silly they do that, like on the front. I've had that happen to me before too. The funny thing is, like the old DVDs, we have all the old DVDs they've ever sold. It's weird they don't sell all the seasons. They have like season 1, 3, 5, whatever.
The good ones.
On the front of the DVD cover are the final 4.
And
On the front of each DVD is the person that wins that section of the DVD. So it's like you have to like not look at the case and not look at the DVD when you put it in if you don't want to be spoiled. It's really dumb.
Marketing genius.
I remember going to see one season one time, and I was Googling Survivor, and I saw a spoiler. So since then, every time I Google Survivor, I purposefully like blur and defocus my eyes. And I'm like, I know where the link is. I just have to get to it, you know?
Yeah, so that being said, we'll get into this like I didn't know what happened at the beginning of the episodes. But so it starts, and I find this really funny with them, like obviously recapping the last week's episode. But John getting upset with Jacqueline and telling her in the future, don't tell people good plays that I made were their idea. When obviously Natalie's the only reason he played his idol at the last tribal council.
Yeah. Now, I kind of understand why he's saying that, because he doesn't want it to be coming up at the final tribal, them saying, well, you know, like let's say the final tribal was Natalie versus John for the million, and John saying, I made all these great plays, and Natalie says, no. I made these great plays. I told you to make these plays. Remember when Jacqueline said that I made these great plays? That's, I think, what he's worried about. It's kind of silly. He is acting like a total asshole, but it could come back at the very final tribal that he didn't make any plays. He was just carried along by Natalie. That's what's in his mind, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Well, which is a good thing to have on your mind, because Natalie's a very strong player right now, and if there's anybody you want to be like preparing against that final tribal councils, wait a minute, Natalie didn't do this. I did it. She may have mentioned it to me, but I was going to do it anyway, you know?
So
that's where you got to play it.
So MC, I don't know what your thoughts are on John, but Guude, knowing your thoughts on John, do you think he's that smart and he's thinking that far ahead, or do you think he really thinks he came up with that?
No, I don't think he thinks he came up with it. I think that's actually, this is probably the smartest thought he's had, honestly, is to think ahead for the final tribal.
So John does that whole game, and I understand the strategy behind it. I personally think he really thinks he came up with that idea, but either way. So they get to the reward challenge. Reward challenge is about chopping ropes. You know, one of these...
And bloody skulls.
Yeah, chopping ropes, bloody skulls. Like, which actually freaked Baylor out, which I found hilarious. She was like, ew.
The prop team was having a fun day. I'm sure they were just watching from the sidelines. Like, oh man, they don't know what's about to happen. But the prop team was laughing on the sidelines that entire reward challenge.
Yeah.
Now, I found it entertaining that the skulls, when they cracked and actually got hit right with the rock, and they spread that like paint looking, blood looking paint around. That was great. But there was a couple times with the rock like bounced and like fell to the side, and the skull like stayed there completely intact. And I was like, can't they just go like smash it, just like get the fulfillment?
I didn't even notice that. That's kind of sad. Oh, we missed.
I mean, they do have axes. Why didn't they just go up
right?
and whack them? Why did they not have 3 skulls and each person had 3 skulls to whack?
So one of the first times I've seen a reward challenge end mid-challenge because I think Jeff got kind of fed up with like.
I think Jeff was pissed too. He seemed pissed.
Yep, he did. He was like, "Don't play this charade. Just like finish it out. If it's done, tell me. Like, let's get this shit over with." Like it's pretty much what it's.
Just like I want to get back to Ponderosa.
The entire challenge was about inciting drama and having people like, oh, well, you chopped my rope. Well, I'm going to chop your rope, and everybody's just teaming up, and he's just like, you're going to ruin my drama. Well, I'm not going to let you play my game.
No.
Who's going on reward? I honestly don't care at this point.
So Missy wins, quote unquote, wins because they give her the win, and then chooses obviously Baylor. I think that's a no-brainer choice. Natalie, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
I thought it was smart, personally, because Jacqueline has gone to several. Natalie was already waning. It felt like Natalie was waning. She didn't really know where she was in her alliance. And I think if you had not taken Natalie, you'd have been in for some shit, especially now that Natalie's got that hidden immunity idol. Now, Jacqueline, of course, was fucking pissed. But
Baylor probably thinks she has it. But I guess that solidifies the Baylor-Natalie thing because they're on the reward together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
hey,
I think it was very
Natalie
smart.
isn't complaining either, because if I was going on Final 3 with Missy and Baylor, I'd be happy in that moment, you know? Be like, hey, you know, they're a good team to bring along because they did very little, you know?
I would. You're absolutely right on that.
They're
actually
basically the same person to judge at Final Tribal Council. So
that'd be
instead of judging 2 different people, you're judging basically 1.
I didn't even think about it in that respect. I was more thinking about it from the appeasing Jacqueline and John perspective. Because at first I was like, well, this is perfect because Jacqueline and John get to go back to camp together as a couple. But then they still sent John to a lone island, which...
I mean, doesn't matter. That Exile Island, I've been watching Gabon, and even since then, it's been like, Exile Island, go there, get an idol, have a fun day.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and that's exactly what it was. So
Take it
that's
back.
another good strategy. So I'm trying to figure out what Jacqueline was so upset about, because she was pissed that Natalie went. Like, they had worked this whole thing out. Oh, yeah, Missy should go on this reward, blah, blah, blah. Let's give it to her. And then she's like, how dare she not choose me? Rah. And it's just like, you can't... I don't know what she wanted out of it. Somebody wasn't going to go on the reward. Boo-hoo that it happened to be you. I don't understand why she was so mad.
Well, I don't think she was as mad as she originally was, but I think it came out that when everybody started getting on her and be like, oh, well, that's how the game's aligning, and then she started to buy into it more and more. She was probably a little miffed, but not as miffed as she was after everybody started talking to her and, you know, like getting her emotions going.
I think those 3 did a great job of riling her up at the exact right moment. I think they knew they were on the bottom, and they were like, hey, let's make Jacqueline a little bit upset right now, and I think they did it perfectly.
It didn't help that she was already pissed at her boyfriend, too.
Yeah, I mean, and that whole thing, like... which is right after. So John goes to a lone island, and it's like MC said, it's a lone island plus idol. Go to a lone island, get an idol, like, come back happy. Like, that's pretty much all that happens in there. So he comes back, and Jacqueline's pissed off at him, telling him he's snapping at her, even though she's the one going off the deep end. Like, I need you guys to recap me on what happened there, because I'm confused.
Oh, I wish I had it open. I saw a post on a forum about this, but it was basically John being like, I don't want to talk right now. And then Jackie's like, well, I want to talk. And John's like, not right now. I don't want to talk. And then Jackie's like, I don't want to talk to you. And then John's like, I want to talk. And that repeats until it's like a few minutes before Tribal Council. And then she's like, and that's why you should listen to me. And it's like, why is this happening? You know, and we can't do anything in terms of strategy, you know?
It was so weird whenever he comes back. I wasn't even sure at the moment if he even told her he'd found the idol, because like
I actually wrote down. Did John tell her he has idol? Like, I wrote that down as part of my notes because I had no idea.
It was so bizarre. Like, I think here's what me and my wife decided was that it was at the point in the game where everyone is so hungry and so tired that they're breaking down as humans. Because it always seems to come to that point in the game where like the decisions they're making don't make as much sense if you think about like a normal person that just got there, they had plenty to eat, they've had plenty of rest, but they're at the point where they're getting like, a few hours sleep a day, and they're probably a little bit insane. I don't know.
Well, I mean that would be so good too. It's like I want to talk. I want to talk. Says Jackie, and John's like, I don't want to talk. I have an idol. We're good. Maybe then she would have been like, oh, okay, we'll talk later. You know?
Right. It didn't help because the way he said it, like he came back and he had been over it, with the way he talks about it later. He'd been over there stressing the whole time, and he comes back and she's like, the game has changed, and here's how it's changed, and he's like, no, you're being played. Is how it seemed like he was acting basically.
Well, yeah, because she originally tried to tell him, like, Alec and, we should go with Alec and Reed, all of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, because Alec had been hitting on her the whole time that, John was gone.
Yeah, what was that all about?
And I don't know if he was trying to play a game, or if he was just deciding that she was really hot at the time. Like, I don't know, that kind of came out of nowhere. He never hit on her before, he's never hit on her since. Like, I don't quite understand. It just seemed like a weird
thing to throw into the plot lines. Be like, okay, so they're going to try to sway her with this reward thing, and Alec is flirting with her.
Right,
like,
right. It was really thrown in out of nowhere. It was kind of
like I could say Alex's D or something. Throw
in the reward and Alex's D.
The thing that blew my mind was that she was flirting back.
Oh yeah, completely. She loved it. She loved every minute of it. She like got it in her head all of a sudden the second that John was gone. She was planning to start that fight with him for whatever reason. She was already fighting with him even though they didn't have a fight. That's the way that she was acting toward Alec. And then when John came back, she just continued the fight on that she had already been having that he didn't know.
They talked about that. I hope they talked about that before the episode aired, or else I bet John and Jacqueline are sitting there watching TV. And Jacqueline's just like,
can you imagine?
I'm gonna go get a drink. I'm gonna go get a drink. You want anything from the kitchen?
So that
wait
makes
till commercial, honey. No, I'm really thirsty.
Oh, that makes me wonder. In what season was it where the used car salesman dude won? Who turned out to be like a softcore porn actor, not really a used car salesman. Like Brian and Cliff in the final two is all I remember, and Brian's the guy who won. I don't remember what season it was. One of the earlier ones. Dude looks so intrigued.
Yeah.
I don't remember any. Are you sure this was Survivor?
Yes, because this is
like some knockoff you got while on your trip to
This
Mexico?
is one of the first times it started to come out with all the Survivor might possibly be staged type of deals, because they found out this guy who was a used car salesman, went on as a used car salesman, won the game, everybody thought he was a used car salesman, and it turns out he was a softcore porn actor. And they were like, was he just a plant? Like, he really wasn't a used car salesman? Like, is he an actor? What's really going on with this whole thing? But either way, season was still good, but Tom was a guy on that season, and
he's a firefighter, right?
No,
white-haired, kind of.
No, but maybe his name was. I'm pretty sure his name was Tom.
I think there might have been two.
There was a couple Toms.
I've been more than one Tom.
This is a big black guy, big bald black guy.
No, not the Tom I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he was grinding with one chick while they slept in the cave. It was one of the episodes they slept in the cave. And
I think I remember that.
And she flipped out and got all mad at him the next morning, and he was telling her, he was like, I'm sorry, I was daydreaming, like, or I was sleeping, I thought you were my wife because I was dazed. And it makes me wonder, did he tell his wife about that before the season aired?
You gotta think about the people actually watching the episodes, and sometimes they're like, oh man,
yeah,
oops,
yeah.
I forgot. How do you forget the cameras are on you 24/7 and you're doing those things? You're gonna have to watch them back one day.
Yeah, because I kind of wonder, like, was his wife aware? Does she know what she's about to watch? Is he, like, at a friend's house tonight? Or did he forget what he did already?
I'm tired. You can just watch the episode by yourself. I'm going to go take a nap.
But in regards to Jacqueline, I swear to God, I was so mad while I was watching this. This is the notes that I wrote. Jacqueline telling John to switch to the guys. She gets all pouty and shit. Next time you want me to tell you I won't, don't touch me, all in quotes. And then I wrote bitch afterwards.
So that's how you feel.
Yes, I mean it was so ridiculous. What did I say? I don't think he realized what was going on when he snapped, is what Jacqueline said. And I said, "What the fuck? He snapped? Does the Hausen, whatever her disease is, make you crazy? Like, do you?" It's
Wow, Jeff.
I was so
personally.
I was so angry when watching this. I mean, it went on for like 10 minutes in the show, and she was just going on about how John snapped at her and how dare he. And I was like, maybe the cameras didn't show it. I have no idea because
I mean, at the same time, eventually Jackie does come. Is like, I don't want to talk, and then when it gets reversed, and then it's like, hey, okay, Jackie. I don't want to talk right now. Then all of a sudden, John's being the same way. And it's like, you two are both being difficult, and you should stop because we have a tribal in like a couple hours.
oh.
And there's a potential that we could actually do a big play.
Yeah, I guess I did skip down in the notes a little bit. I missed a teeny little section in the middle here that there was an immunity challenge between what we were talking about. So this is right before tribal, and they had the immunity challenge. It was
happen still.
Yeah, it was not that. It was an entertaining challenge. They balanced the balls on the end of a paddle. They had to get 6 of them on the end of the paddle and balance them. And Keith won. Keith's kind of the man. But there was nothing really big about the challenge itself other than, it happened.
This is the season of the lowest budget ever, I swear. I swear that's the lowest budget season ever
Do you
made.
think they reused those paddles from a different season? Because
Almost
they had to
everything is from
the
the last
softcore porn season?
It's from the softcore porn season. That porn scene in the cave. They had the paddles out.
So, like I said, I've been watching Gabon, and I've been watching these challenges, and they're so exciting. They're out in the field throwing giant balls down, playing Plinko, and then we get to this season, they're like, bounce the ball on the end of the stick, and it's like, what happened to these great challenges? Like, even inside the one season where they had to like run up, but like just do a run. Everybody needs to get to the finish line. Like, what happened to just like simple relay race type things, where you have to run across the field? It's not like they don't have the space out there.
Yeah,
it's been really bad.
Yeah. So paddle with like little indents in it to catch a ball, and Keith wins. So Keith has immunity again.
See, here's what they could have done to make this challenge better. I forgot I wrote this down. They should have had to find the balls. Or something. Like something. There should have been another phase.
Wouldn't you personally not like that, though? Because you don't like the whole RNG part of the challenge.
It would have sucked. But, I mean, okay, maybe they don't have to find the balls. Maybe they have to do a relay race for the ball. Something. There should have been some kind of physical activity other than stand here and put balls. And I think that if they had done that, the Keith wouldn't have won. It'd have been a different winner. Did it change the game? If there'd have been something you had to run at the start for, and then even after that run, you wouldn't have been so calm and relaxed to place your ball.
Yeah, you've been in adrenaline. You've been in, trying to balance. You couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're right.
And then like reduce it to 3 balls. Then you don't have to do like 5 or whatever. You know.
Or even like a 10-foot gap that you just set the wall. You have to get one on there and then walk it 10 feet and do the next one while balancing that ball. That would have been entertaining enough.
Go for it. But instead, stand on this. Put the ball.
So. Whatever, challenges kind of suck, and
all praise Keith.
All praise Keith. I love that man. He's pretty awesome.
He's bad at Survivor, but he is a hilarious person for television.
So, Tribal Council comes around. What did you guys think about Tribal Council? The very first Tribal Council in this episode.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I don't have too much written down about it, but
nothing really of importance happened.
I wrote nothing.
I remembered that. That everybody was talking about like this reward thing and how people were miffed that they didn't get to go, and they get around to Keith. It's like, well, Keith, how do you feel about this? Oh, I'm used to it.
Yep.
I feel bad for the guy. I'm like, oh, he's used to not going on reward by now. At least he gets immunity.
So in the end of Tribal, because it's not really that revealing at Tribal itself, but Reed gets voted out. Expected, I think, by everybody. Like, everybody's gunning for Reed. We know that, like, the whole Fivesome Alliance. However, the votes at the end, both Keith and Alec voted for Reed.
Oh, yeah!
I can't figure out the strategy behind that, because
I don't think they showed us some of it. That's what I decided. I decided that we missed something, because at some point there had to have been a conversation that was had that, like, we don't have the numbers. Let's just vote him out so there's nothing weird that happens.
But you give up at that point. If you
Yeah.
are just voting the other person you know they're already voting out
And your own alliance.
in your own alliance,
Yeah.
you could at least have the three of you strong against Missy, because that's who Reed was going after, and hope you swayed two of them, because Reed was doing some talking and hoping he was going to sway some people.
But like they didn't really show us what happened after Reed calls Baylor a brat and Missy gets all up
Oh,
in arms
yeah,
about
Reed
that.
calls
Like there was
Baylor a
all this like
brat.
little sub drama they didn't show us. And I think more came of that than we realized, basically. Like I think Reed pissed off some people at Reward and everyone was just like, well, I'm not getting involved. You know.
Well,
I'll
I
just
mean,
vote for
I'd get Keith because maybe Keith, you know, he has Wes as a kid, so maybe he got the parently thing, like you don't call my kid names thing. But I don't get why Alec would do that unless Alec's just blindly following Keith, which I find
Maybe
that to be
he's
the
fallen
worst
in love
alliance.
with Jackie and Jackie told him to do it.
It's possible. I don't know. I had to rewatch them like showing the votes again to make sure I saw that right, because I was like, why would Keith and Alec both vote for Reed? It was like
Yeah.
literally one Missy and everybody else Reed. Keith and Alec just completely threw away any chance that they had in breaking up that fivesome at that point. Futile. 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 Words.
Kyle. That's a whole different show. But I was thinking that maybe it came down to it, and they're like, okay, can we get Missy out? And everybody started talking, and everybody went up to them and said, no, sorry, this plan isn't happening. It's just not going to go down. So they're like, okay, well, never mind. We'll just
Give up.
get rid of Reed and just not risk anything else weird happening.
I didn't understand that at all, but I mean that's what happened. Reed went home. Keith and Alec voted Reed, so everybody voted Reed, and we moved on to the next episode.
Like instantly. It was like there wasn't even an intro.
No, they actually it was weird because normally like they show them flipping the votes and all that stuff and the scenes from the next, and it, like the credits are rolling at the time, and it was just kind of mixed in with the show and just kind of went right on through
Right.
to episode number 2.
It's like they always knew it was going to be 2 episodes.
Yeah, and these 2 episodes, I can't say they were the greatest episodes, but they were more entertaining than some of the episodes previously. Put some of those boring ones before, like this is post-production now. Put some of those boring ones together to give people a little bit more excitement into what's coming up now, and leave these somewhat entertaining episodes separate. You're gonna get more viewers.
This season has definitely been like better post-merge. Not only it's been a better post-merge, everything in this season has been weird, and that's why I've been loving it, because I haven't got a chance to talk to you guys about it. But like this entire season, everything is weird. People are just like, have my reward. You have my reward, and this is being passed around. There's like idols for days, but nobody cares about using them, and it's just like,
It's like to hold on
what's
to them.
going on?
They
What's
feel
going
good
on
in their
here?
pockets.
We didn't talk about it actually, but I was really disappointed how easy these idols are to find. Like, here's what I decided: the season with oh god, what's his name? Russell. Whenever he finds all these idols without clues, was probably whenever their ratings rebounded. That's when Survivor suddenly everyone was buzzing about Survivor again. Russell Hantz, you know. So I think what they've decided as like a television show is idols equals viewers. We should just give them the idols. Just give them the idols all the time, all the idols all the time. And so you go to Exile Island, the idol is right here. It might as well just be on a platter. There shouldn't even be anything anymore, because that's basically what it was for John again. It was walk down the beach, get the idol.
Yep.
There's a sideways
See,
tree.
I liked it better when they put them on random inconspicuous things in the middle of camp. Like one was on the top of it was on the top of a chest. One was on the gate that they
That's
walked
in
in
Survivor
on.
China. Yeah,
And-
it was in the gate. That's what's so cool. That was my favorite.
That was awesome. It's like it was there the entire time, and nobody had any idea until they got the right clue, and we're like,
Yeah,
wait
and the one on the
a
rice
minute.
bucket.
Yeah, and now they're hiding them, but they're hiding them in plain sight, essentially.
Man, it's like, I know you might not all get this, but it's like a Zelda puzzle. You see the discolored rock, and you're like, hey, there it is, man. That was easy.
Do you think people do that on Survivor when they get it? They hold it up
I
above their
would.
head and
Oh,
try.
man.
I'd love to see MC on Survivor just to get the idol and be like,
Oh, God.
oh, that would be hilarious.
You say that'd be hilarious, and I just said that would be the worst. 'Cause-
But yeah, I mean, I think the production crew thinks that the idol getting played is the thing that people want to see, which I don't want to see it all the time, but I also don't want to see it as little as I've seen it this season. Like you said, they hold it in their pockets forever. John Rocker gets voted out with it. You know, that they never bring that idol back, no matter what Guude wants to think that they did.
They brought
that
that
idol.
shit back.
They did not.
They brought it back.
It was a merge idol. It was a merge idol.
No, I don't.
I'm telling you, merge idol. But so now, is that all the idols are found again? Because there's only two.
The only one left in the game are the John. John doesn't have his anymore. It's just Natalie, right? Or
No,
oh no, John, because John
got
got his new one.
oh yeah, I forgot.
So wait, there technically still could be one more because Keith had one. Do you think they're gonna hide that one?
I know. I think that was like yeah. You had 3 idols basically, and then when they did their. By the way, that was so telling when they started the episode with, "Welcome to Survivor. Here are the 3 idols. Here's who has them. Maybe something will happen tonight." And then 2 of them got played. But no, there was one for each tribe, and then the merged tribe. And so now there's only 1 tribe. So they have one that's still left from the merge, and I'm believing Guude. I'm going with Guude. It's John's recirculated.
No, disagree.
It was
no, no way.
Now they're not putting it back because they've merged. Now there's only 2.
No way. They put that idol out there at the merge and only at the merge because it was a merge idol. I stand by
There's
it.
no such thing. You're making up idols. There's no merge idol.
Yeah, I can make up idols all day long because
Silent
they're
idol,
all
special
there in plain
powers.
sight for everybody to see. Like, nobody needs clues for that shit. They're right there.
Idol with special powers in my bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
What if they'll bring one of those back? It doesn't seem like it because it's not as important this season.
I was hoping they were going to bring it back, and it would be actually what he'd said it was that previous season.
Then you
where
get to
could be
use it
played
through like
after
the final 3 or
four.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
So the next episode finally comes around, and reward challenge is to stand on a block and stabilize a ball.
All praise Natalie.
I'm pretty sure it was the same damn block before that they'd used the time before where they had to stand on the block and hold their arms up here.
That probably was.
Now they have to hold their arms up here. That's the only difference.
I do like the spin on this challenge that they had to balance a ball like against the post. I thought that was kind of a cool different twist. And in any other season, I think I would have loved this challenge. But in this season with recycled challenges and recycled like boring things, I'm sad.
Even if John was like somehow holding on to it for like ages, just like on the corner, you know, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kept wanting him to like. He's the one that seemed to kind of figure that you could spin this to rotate this. Like he almost had it.
He did correct it once.
Yeah, yeah. No one else seemed to really even try it. They were there. They were going.
Yeah.
It wasn't like on the edge of your seat entertainment or anything.
And poor Keith came out of this challenge because at one point he just randomly like he's looking so intently, and all of a sudden for no reason he goes. He looks like straight ahead, and all of a sudden his ball falls down, and I'm just like, "Hey, Keith, eye on the prize, man, eye on the prize." But you know, it probably hurts to hold your neck like that. I have no idea how long they were out there at that point, like that. Yeah, whatever. That's kind of a anybody's challenge type of thing, which is what's good about those challenges. But at the same time, it was a lackluster challenge, whatever.
More crossfades between, hours and hours of just standing there, It's like, I like the challenges that you see the entirety of the challenge, usually.
Do you? See, I kind of like the ones that it's like 8 hours later.
Well, I mean, I like those occasionally, but this season's been full of them. It's like, bring out the crossfades. We got, they've been out here for an entire day,
Yeah, so...
But none of them have lasted that long. That's the funny thing. They've done a lot of those... I think the longest one was the one that lasted like 2 hours, right? Where they were all... Wasn't that the longest one this season?
I want to say it was. I can't think of one longer. So, anyways, Natalie wins the challenge, blah, blah, blah.
Who does she bring?
The great couple.
John
and Jacqueline.
Right, and
just
Missy
like
and Baylor
the
did look pissed they weren't
smartest
picked, too.
Oh my god, this is when Natalie, I think, is starting to really appear to me like, hey, she has a strong chance of winning this game because she makes a smart move, and her confessionals are so telling how smart she is with this. She's like, I hate this. This is the worst. I'm going to vote him out. But you know what? I'm going to pretend that I'm enjoying this sitting on the bed and listening to him talk about wine for however long.
And Guude, I want to hear your thoughts on Natalie again.
Why?
Just because the first episode of this, you were so against anything Natalie Nadia. You wanted them gone.
You know
they
what?
were done.
My opinion on her has kind of changed. Maybe she's only annoying when she's with her sister, because all throughout both times they've been on Amazing Race, I wanted to rip my ears off. But she's been all right. I think I'm with MC. I think she's gonna win. I think she's gonna win it all. I don't even think I'd care anymore. I'm not even mad.
If you were on the jury right now and you had to choose from all the people that are left, would you vote for Natalie?
No, I'd vote for Keith.
Okay.
Wait, who gets voted out at the end of this last one? I don't
Not
remember.
Keith.
Alec.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh,
Okay,
well.
Most people watching the
no.
show probably have already seen the episode, but
Yeah. Right at that moment, or even after Alex going, I'd vote for Keith to win right now, just because I like him most at all. I don't think he's necessarily the best, but he's not any worse than anyone else either, to be honest. But you know what? Actually,
play was he found an idol, and that's not really much of a play. I mean,
yeah,
I could
guess
go
if
out
was
there right
voting-
now and find an idol, and they're not even doing a season.
That's probably true, man. The way they're handing them out this season. Actually, you know what? I guess if I was voting on who I think's played the game the best from a viewer's perspective of watching the television show, I'd have to give it to Natalie right now. John and Jacqueline might deserve something, but I just am bitter. I don't like
They
them.
get a strong second place.
So, do you think Jacqueline really deserves anything right now? I think John deserves something right now. I think John's the strategic
I'm
point
not
or
convinced
partner in
that
there.
he has thought of anything.
Do you think
I
it's
think
really
she
Jacqueline?
might be the mastermind. And
I do too.
See, maybe I'm in the minority there, but I think John's
I like
got
John.
that.
I think he's doing smart things. I just think that Jacqueline has also been there to say, hey, you're being dumb and you need to consider people in addition to plays. And that's what's keeping him alive.
It's possible. It's possible. But then she yells at him and doesn't want to talk to him, and then he doesn't want to talk to her, and then
Well,
it's
that's
that
a
whole
them
thing
problem,
again.
not a
and-
game problem for the most part, luckily. Everybody has to listen to him all day. Or
So-
not listen to them.
So at the reward, again, here we go, Guude, from last week, or before the reward, they send Alec to a lone island.
they don't show it.
They don't show a damn thing. Not even
And
the
it's a
fact that
food episode,
Yeah.
too.
he doesn't even get there. He doesn't even come home. He's just gone and back at the challenge, and
I
that is
forgot he was
all.
part of the show.
That's he is like, as you said, he's a guy who literally is in the background. Like, you forget he's there. Like, he could have, like, he didn't even need to be there for this episode because
Yeah.
he wasn't most of the time, and nobody seemed to care.
Right.
And then
He's
by the
just
end,
out of the challenge
he's
too. Then he
done.
just leaves. Like, all right, see you later.
So again, I have no idea if he scrambled around looking for an idol. Did he just do nothing? No idea. No idea. So that was
I guess
boring.
let's check the post interviews.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did you look for any idols out there? No, I took a nap.
Yeah, I mean, I took a nap for 2 days and came back.
That reminds me, the one thing that I've seen in Gabon that I really want to see return is people going to Exile Island for longer than just until the Immunity Challenge. Like, this one was, hey, you're going to Exile Island, and guess what? You're staying until after Tribal Council, and then you're going on whatever tribe has fewer players to even them up.
Yeah, I forgot about
That's
that. They did
cool.
that.
That's cool. I think that's really neat. You know, it's like that's
Yeah.
an extended stay too. You know,
No, did Gabon have a single person exile or was it a double person exile?
single person.
Oh, it's the whole season, just single person.
Well, I don't know. I'm only on episode 4.
But at the beginning, at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
I mean, because
it-
this one
it
was
was-
started out with 2, and now it's down to 1 since they're like a merged tribe.
Well, it's also Blood versus Water, which I still don't get the name for that. I think it's Blood versus Blood, isn't it?
It's we've definitely discussed that one as well.
Okay.
So bed challenge, not bed challenge, spaghetti challenge in bed. I guess it would be like
Challenge listening to John talk about wine. Oh, I'm such a
Yes.
sophisticated man.
he became this wine connoisseur all of a sudden out of nowhere, and that was.
I mean, you can respect somebody, you know?
Yes, because I've talked about wine the entire time that I've let you guys know about never. I mean, it didn't make any sense. Again, it was one of those post-production things that I was so confused about because somebody else made some comment about how John constantly talks about wine, so it was good that he got to do this like drink some wine, and I was like, when has he ever talked about wine in the context of this entire season so far?
I think they're just trying to show him as like, hey, he's also kind of annoying. He's not this perfect guy or whatever that some of the season has painted him to be. And it's kind of funny because then it's all still wrapped up with the, oh, it was my dad. We loved wine type of thing. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. I don't know if I'm liking all this story and everything.
All right, I forgot about the whole me and my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, though, is what makes Natalie decide she wants John out of there. She wants John gone. Like, she's ready to vote him out.
And she has a good plan, too.
And she has a great plan for it. But then comes the immunity challenge. I didn't write down the immunity challenge, did I?
I wrote it down, but I don't remember this. Table balanced, rope to hold on to, get blocks from tape behind them and set up. What happened? So I don't remember any of this.
There's a table on a swivel, and you had a rope that held the swivel upright.
Oh, right.
So
right.
You had to put a block on it, but you had to walk the rope back to get your next block, and if you let too much slack in the rope, the table tipped over, and the block
Keith
fell.
almost won.
Keith did almost win that challenge. But the challenge itself, I do have to say, finally got something a little bit entertaining as a challenge in this episode. I like challenges like that. I think it's kind of cool. It's simplistic, but I think it's entertaining. It's kind of taking the paddle and balls to that walking with the paddle and balls type of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to see Keith win. I was sad that... I think he got too anxious, man. I think he would have won. But John got smart, man. John... He
took it slow
and steady.
He slowed down way.
Keith was flying through it for a while, and he made one little mistake, dropped his things off, and yeah, you're right. I think he got anxious at that point and tried way too hard to go flying through that thing to catch back up.
John was just powered up by the wine. He was overpowered for that challenge.
Oh no, the wine and God. They made sure that they showed him saying, God, please be with me. God, please be with me, multiple times as he was making that run, which I also found was kind of strange.
I mean, that was like an editing thing that I saw that I was like, he's going to win.
Yep.
Like, because it's for America, and, you know, Americans like God, so they're like, John's going to win.
He's got God on his side. He can't lose now.
Right.
So, yes, John wins. They go to Tribal. At Tribal, again, I didn't write much down. Did anything exciting happen at Tribal?
Yes. Well, they were supposed to vote out Keith.
Oh, yes. I wrote down confusion ensues at the end is what I wrote down.
Basically, Natalie flip-flopped.
Because she wanted to keep Keith around.
She wants to keep Keith around so she can get rid of John.
Does she not think she can get rid of John with Alec?
Alec's kind of an idiot. He's no one. She kept forgetting he was even there.
That's
probably
Jacqueline's close to John. I think that Alec is more willing to align with John and Jacqueline because they're flirting all the time. So hey, let's get rid of Alec. He's definitely out of this these two people that are like free numbers right now that are not going to win the game. It's obvious. Let's keep Keith because he's just fishing and spitting, you know? Who cares what he...
Fishing and spitting.
Yeah.
That's the truth, too.
So...
they show him.
Because they were going to...
Oh, he's spitting. That's what I want to know. What is he spitting out?
It's the editor having a fun.
It's like...
just having a fun time. I want to counter.
Yeah, Keith spit one time, and they just keep re-editing it in, and you think it's, like, seamless. You don't even realize that it's like he's sitting down in the scenes where he's spitting, but he's always wandering around, and it just shows him spitting. But you constantly think it's just one, long scene. They just keep throwing it in there. So they were supposed to split the votes, though, right?
Yes, they were supposed to split the votes. Originally, it was. I have this written down. John wanted to split the votes 3 to Keith and 2 to Alec.
So if Natalie flops, then it makes 3-2 the other way.
Right, but it ended up being 4-3. I don't know who the other ones were.
Well, so 4-3 is because Keith voted for Alec and Alec voted for Keith.
Right.
Well, which...
Because, again, it's like a Reed situation where they're like, we lose!
That one I get more because you're kind of saving yourself, possibly, because you're just hoping to add to the votes of some other people so that you don't go home. So I get this one a little bit more, but...
I think it's one of those situations where it's very telling of, like, how unlikely they are to win the game at that point. Because if you are literally scraping by with like having to vote with the alliance that's trying to kill you, I don't think you've been playing Survivor well enough at that point.
But at the same time, you could always go on a challenge run and make it.
Yeah, but who cares if you go on a challenge run? It's like, would you go to the jury? I should win the Survivor because I balanced the ball better than everyone here.
But that does happen a lot. If somebody goes on a long challenge run.
What was that one season? Was it Ozzy that came after a merge? He got screwed basically. His tribe were a bunch of idiots. After the merge, he comes in. It's like 2 versus 5 or something, and he does go on a challenge run and wins it all or something. I don't. Maybe I'm making.
He goes on the challenge run up until the final immunity challenge, then bumbles it.
Right. That's right. I remember that now. But like, okay, in that case, he would have won the game, right? You would have voted for that man to win the game. You know, and it's not just I balanced the ball better. It was, holy shit, you were amazing. You got screwed coming into the merge, and then you were still amazing. You here, have $1 million.
You might not have outwit, but you definitely outplayed.
Yeah.
Know?
Right.
And that's what you'd go with the jury with. You know, I tried to outwit, but I didn't have anywhere to go. So you know what? I outplayed everybody by miles. You know, to make up for it.
And you got to remember, there's only 6 people left at this point after this episode. If it goes down to a final 3, which I'm assuming it's going to go down to a final 3, you're going to only have to run 3 challenges, which I think any of them could do it. Well, I don't think any of them could do
Keith
it.
Could do it.
I think Keith can do it.
Keith, the challenge beast.
I don't think.
He's just out of control.
I don't think Baylor or Missy can do it by any stretch of the imagination. But
unless it's very.
Here's I just like interrupted everything you said, MC. I didn't hear anything you said.
No, I was saying I don't think Baylor can like do any challenge run unless it's like something about bouncing or something like that. You know, something very unique.
Did you guys notice that the last thing Alex said whenever he was leaving was, "So happy I beat my brother"?
No, I didn't notice that.
To beat Drew. It's like, that's the only thing he... Whenever Drew got voted out, I was like, yeah, I'm such the better brother. Still in the game. And then he gets voted out, I was like, I beat him.
Yep, and it's so funny, too, because they weren't even on the same tribe when his brother got voted out.
What is this competition? So did you guys watch the preview from next episode?
I did watch the preview for next episode.
Oh, I forget it, but yes, I did.
Well, they show Jeff and Missy standing there with a doctor, and the doctor says, I'm going to have to pull Missy from the game to do an x-ray. Does she pulled permanently?
Hell no, they're not pulling her now. You don't show something like that unless...
You show the doctor coming, but you don't get the audio of, we're going to have to pull her from the game. That's a telltale sign that the editors are either playing a major trick on us or they.
But you know what? What did I say last week, dude?
Last week you said it during you were watching football and they showed up.
They did. They showed up with from freaking stones, which haven't existed yet. So
no, that didn't even happen. They just made something up.
Man, maybe I made something up.
How much did you had to drink in that football game?
I don't know. That one. Depends on which game it was. But I swear to you, so I still think that that's coming. I still think that there's an episode where there's rocks.
There's no way they're giving you previews, especially before they just ran a 2-out. No, Jeff, that doesn't happen.
I think it does. It's got to. You mark my words. There will be rocks in this season before the season is out.
Oh, they were. They dropped them on skulls.
Maybe that's what they were showing. It was really like this motion was actually the dropping of the skull. I don't know. But why? What do you think's going to happen, Goo? Do you think they pull Missy from the game?
No. I think it's one of those things like you got. They probably take her away to do an X-ray. But the thing is, don't they normally? If you leave the game, you're out.
Yes.
That's what they've always done. If you leave the game, you're out. So if she actually has to pull her from the game to do an X-ray, it must be one of those things where it might be sprained, it might be broken. The only way I can know for sure is I have to pull her from the game to do an X-ray. It's up to you.
Did they show what body part it was that she might have?
No, I don't think.
What if it's her pinky? Like,
right.
She could probably be like,
or like,
I'm not leaving now. Yeah. Who cares? Like people break toes and actually just never go to the doctor and they just let them go. You know?
Yeah, and so there's 2 things that are going to happen in this, and either one, it's just like you said, Guude, it's over dramatized, and really he's like, I wouldn't know for sure unless I did an X-ray, but that's up to you, and she's going to be like, no, I'll stay. Or 2, it did never happen. Nobody's going to get an X-ray, and they're putting that in the stock footage with the people pulling rocks. Like, that's what's going on.
I don't think they're doing that. I don't think the previews they give you on the actual show are faked.
I go with number 2.
Here's what I think you saw, Jeff. I think you saw a promo reel for Survivor in general. And
When was the last time you saw a promo reel for Survivor in general?
And also, with these promo reels, why would they promo people picking rocks? That's not the most exciting footage they could choose.
You're right.
Black
As someone
rock.
that watches the show, it kind of is. But if you were trying to follow it, I guess you're right. That doesn't make any damn sense. Maybe they didn't think about that though. Maybe they're really dumb. Maybe that's why they're has such a low budget this season.
I'm debating if I'm going to go upstairs and rewatch old football games that I have on DVR just to go find that damn commercial. Like,
I want this to happen now.
I'm just excited because, like, this season, if
you're excited because Missy's hurt? Me too.
Well,
I mean,
okay. Imagine if Missy does get injured in some way that like affects her in the game, or she gets pulled, and their stones. Like, this season goes from being weird to even more weird and exciting. Like, all these weird things have happened this season. I love it. That's the best way I can describe this silly season.
I got it. They draw rocks in the next episode to decide which body part of Missy's they break. That's what it is.
Stone Missy.
Yes.
Jeff
throw the rocks at her
with the snuffer. Just starts beating.
I got it.
God.
So confused.
Must survive.
If Missy gets pulled, though, it's just look at that. If Missy gets pulled, that leaves John, Jacqueline, Baylor, Natalie, and Keith. Baylor's going to stay with Natalie. Natalie's got Keith. John and Jacqueline are screwed. If Missy gets pulled, John and Jacqueline are screwed. If Missy doesn't get pulled, is John and Jacqueline still screwed? Because, again, Baylor and Natalie are joined at the hip. Missy is Baylor's mom. Natalie is with Keith, or Natalie's got Keith now. So no matter what, is John and Jacqueline screwed at this point?
I don't think so. I think they can convince Keith and like really get him on their side.
You think that Keith will go with John and Jacqueline?
I honestly think Keith is confused enough as it is that he will, if he thinks it'll get him ahead in the game, he'll go for it.
I can see that. I think it might be the first person that approaches Keith is going to be able to pull him over. Because
I mean, right now I think Keith is definitely with Natalie. Keith's just following Natalie blindly, but
right. If they start this episode off with Natalie telling Keith what just happened, the fact that you were supposed to go home, I just saved your ass. I think she's got him.
She might, but at the same time, she's won.
Right.
If John and
Baylor for sure.
Her and right, Baylor, she does have Baylor.
And Baylor's mom is Missy, so then basically, I think Natalie, Baylor, and Missy are solidified together.
But the thing is, if Missy doesn't go home, is Keith an idiot to go with Natalie, Baylor, and Missy?
Kinda, because then they got to draw stones.
And you know,
is there any situation in this game that Missy or Baylor can win?
Yes, yeah, there definitely is.
She could. Well, we don't know if it's a final 2 or final 3. So if it's a final 2, they could go to there by themselves, and then you know, one of them wins.
Well, I mean, like, how do they get there? The only way I can see it is,
let's say they go to the final.
They go with Keith, Missy, Baylor, final 3, and to get there they use Jacqueline somehow.
No, because what's going to happen? The plan is to get John out the next episode, according to Natalie. So you'd have to be under the assumption, and that actually would work out very interesting, and be under the assumption that John goes away. If that works out, Missy gets hurt.
Even if that doesn't happen, let's say they just get rid of John and Jacqueline next. So it's Missy, Baylor, Natalie, Keith. They take out John, then they take out Jacqueline. So now it's Missy, Baylor, Natalie, Keith. They take out Keith. Now it's Missy, Baylor, and Natalie. If those people went to the final 3 together, Natalie would win, right? But let's say it was final 2. That's what I was just saying. Let's just take some weird chance it's final 2. If it was the final 3 was Missy, Baylor, and Natalie, and Natalie doesn't win immunity, Missy and Baylor would obviously get rid of Natalie, right? And then the final
God, I would hope so.
I don't think the producers would do that. I don't think they would allow that.
I think it would be amazing if they did, since it was blood versus water. But it would kind of probably ruin the game to some degree too, because you get the 2 blood to come together and then they just win basically. But it would be kind of amazing too, right? That they performed so well in the game, they both got there together, and now you just, here you go, here's your $1 billion.
I do like the prospects of Natalie, Keith, Missy, Baylor in the final 4 because of the fact that I think that leads you to a rock draw. I don't think there's any way around it.
I think this is what I think could really happen. The only way Natalie can't win right now is next episode we get rid of John. Fantastic. We got Natalie, Baylor, Missy, Keith, and Jacqueline. And then, at this moment, Missy, Baylor, and Keith get their heads on right, and they say, wait a minute, let's get rid of Natalie right now. And then it's left with Jackie, and then the three, Keith, Missy, and Baylor. And right there, who cares what happens as long as they get rid of Jacqueline next. And then it's like, who wins in Keith, Missy, Baylor? Because none of them have really played extraordinary games.
Right.
Keith wins
I
for
think
sure.
Keith would win. I don't have
Just
a
because
list.
of how many people are on the jury that like him.
Right. The jury at this point is Josh, Jeremy, Wes, Reed. Obviously, Wes is going to vote for Keith. I think Reed would too. Jeremy hates Keith though. Josh and Reed will probably vote together. I think Josh would. I think Reed would vote for Keith, but I mean, I know Reed wouldn't vote for Baylor. He thinks she's a brat, right? So I think Josh and Reed would definitely vote for Keith, and then obviously Wes is going to vote for Keith. So I think the only one on the jury currently that wouldn't vote for Keith is Jeremy.
I think that would make for an excellent final game. I want that. That's what I want to happen. Just if somehow Keith, Baylor, and Missy get their heads on straight, not this next episode, just follow Natalie one more time, get rid of John. They just do the thing. They do the thing perfectly, you know?
Do the thing.
It's
Perfectly.
It's gonna be. Is there only one more episode, or is there two?
I think there's two. I think there's just two more
Oh my
episodes.
God,
Okay.
it's too quick. It's too
Because
quick.
well, often that they do this 2-hour one throws me off because usually the last one's a 2-hour one.
Well, what I think is going to happen, I think we'll get one on Wednesday and we'll get one on Sunday. That's normally what happens, right?
Sunday.
Really?
They always do that. That's
no,
how the show is always ended. It's always the final's always on Sunday.
I think last season they did it on Wednesday.
No, because it's did they the live stream?
I've never
think they
I've
might
never
have.
watched it live before.
Oh,
so
and the
I
live stream
couldn't
is
tell you.
always because how it used to always work is Amazing Race aired on Sundays. They would work it out where the finale of Amazing Race happened the Sunday before the finale of Survivor. So, like, let's say the first Sunday of the month would be the finale of Amazing Race. The second Sunday of the month would be the finale of Survivor, the live stream. That's how they used to always. And then that week, because it would go Wednesday, and it'd just be 2 days later or 3 days later, and then you'd get the finale.
I like how we're talking about the strategy of TV programming now.
So do you think at the live show? Do you think they'll have special guests, the Utopia cast?
I hope so, man.
That'll be-
Maybe next season of Survivor, we're gonna take these people over here from Utopia and throw them on an island.
That's actually why the show got canceled. It wasn't. It's because Fox
Right.
bought or CBS bought him out from Fox to put him on Survivor.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
Right.
That's brilliant.
Because they're real stars now. So this is gonna be like the star-studded season of Survivor.
And their
Utopia
season
guests.
starts with them drawing rocks.
Of course.
That's what it is. It all makes sense. Oh, so by the way, I went back and watched some of the behind the scenes at Ponderosa, and I watched the one with Wes when he makes it over to Ponderosa
Oh yeah, that's good.
Where is this at? Is this on the
on,
Spider-
on CBS.com.
Oh, man, I
It's
didn't
our
know that.
website. You get to watch them get voted out and go back to Ponderosa, and their interactions with the people that happen there. And because you were talking about Wes probably getting wasted when he gets back, he doesn't get wasted. However, he drinks a beer, and Jeremy and Josh keep trying to talk to him, and he keeps going, yeah, ooh, more food, and like leaving and going and finding food.
I told you he probably ate till he puked.
He gained 11 pounds in that day. Like, they waited when he left Survivor at 160, and he was 171 the next morning after
What?
going back.
That's gonna be the biggest dump in history. It's like giving birth.
Yeah, so he didn't get as wasted as I was hoping, but
So what is Ponderosa like then? Is it on?
it's like this big mansion, essentially.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I
basically
thought. I
a
thought
big,
it was
it's
like
a big
a-
house this time.
Yeah. I've never looked at it before, like we were talking about that. So you've seen it before? You said it's a big house this time, MC? Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. The one I really remember the most, I forget what season it was. I think it was with what's his name? Pink Underwear, Philip. the season with Philip on it. It was basically like they had their private rooms like on these like little shacks like on stilts on the beach, and they had like this big pavilion. It was really nice. It was like higher tier of Survivor basically. It looks really good. But this season they're basically like, here, this is some like cast member's house that happens to be out here in the middle of nowhere, you know?
Yeah, it looks like a house that's lived in on a regular basis. It's just, but it's huge. It's like,
I'm guessing that's where no, usually the producers stay inside like a big village nearby to the location. and all that, like all the entire like crew and all that.
They probably moved him away farther now, so people don't break into production camp anymore. I mean, it's.
Did you hear about that, MC? We talked about it in one of our recaps, but a couple seasons ago, 3 people broke into production camp and were stealing like Gatorade and Snickers for like half of the season until they finally got caught.
Wait, like contestants?
Survivor, yeah. So I actually went back and watched it too. I can't remember their names.
It was James was one of them. I remember that.
Yeah, like so it was the season
Which
where
he did come back again, by the way. We talked about that.
Yeah, he did. James had hurt his finger. You remember the season where James hurts his finger and they end up medevacing him out because his finger might spread to his bone and he may lose his entire life.
Your finger may spread to your bones.
I don't remember James. Describe him. Who?
Big muscular black guy that he went out with 2 idols in his pocket, right? Was that the same James or is it a different James?
Yeah, I think he did go out with idols in his
Okay,
pocket.
I think I remember. Yeah.
But basically, the episode, they come back, his finger's all hurt, they're going to medevac him out. The night before, the girl, I think her name was Alex, something like that. The girl had hurt her knee mysteriously. They never show us how, and some other guy had hurt his foot or something. They hurt themselves running away from production camp because they got caught stealing. Apparently they've been doing it for a while. The thing that's always mysterious, or the thing that people are saying mysterious about it, is that James gets medevaced out, and then the next 2 votes are the 2 people that got caught stealing from production camp. But they weren't ever on the radar to be voted, so it was like all of a sudden the game just suddenly shifted.
What?
But they never tell us any of this on the show. It's only like you have to like go find AMAs and stuff where it's talked about, basically.
So what do you think? So what do you think Missy did? You think that her injury to her leg is just coincidence?
Missy's been stealing Jeff's hats.
So they like put a booby trap in the middle of the next the next thing, and they're like, "Oh, Missy, your leg is snapped in half." And like, sorry, look what you did.
Missy walks into camp with a bear trap on her leg. Guys, I went to production camp and they didn't like me.
So yeah, this double episode, entertaining and a lot of more emotion involved with it, with fighting and things like that, but it really didn't change the course of the game on where it's going. And well, except for the very end, and we'll see what happens with it. But it was Keith versus Alec. It's not a big deal. One of them was going home anyway. We knew that. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know. I kind of wish they would get more exciting.
I think it's going to be really exciting. I think that shit's about to hit the fan. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I hope so. Only 2 episodes
I am
left.
convinced that John and Jacqueline, one of John or Jacqueline, is going home this next episode, and I cannot wait to see it happen.
You know, why, if they were so determined to get rid of John, this last one, but they couldn't because he won immunity, why didn't they just go after Jacqueline?
I don't know. I don't understand why they haven't done that.
I didn't
at
hear
all.
that
Like
at all.
when they thought he might have an idol and they were going to vote, they should just vote Jacqueline to begin with. Whenever he played his idol that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. If you want to get rid of John and you can't, just get rid of Jacqueline instead.
Yeah, they should have done that already. I mean, it's funny to me a little bit that Natalie basically saved John by telling him to play the item. Now she wants to get rid of John.
That's true.
Let John go.
That is true.
I think that was her big play, though, that's going to win her at the jury. Because it was right in front of the jury. The jury saw it. The jury saw, play your idol.
Not according to John. According to John,
give that to
that's
her.
him. That's him.
See, that's his thoughts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, sir.
He's not going to talk to you for the whole rest of this episode.
Oh, I still can't wait till next season now with the Utopia cast. Confirmed.
Watch Utopia, MC?
No, I haven't, but I've heard it's good, but canceled.
Well,
amazingly bad, actually.
it was
Amazingly bad?
It was there and canceled.
It should have been never even happened, honestly.
Okay, good. I'm happy I didn't watch it.
Yeah, the only reason we watched it was because it was so bad we wanted to watch when it got canceled. And granted, it hurt when it got canceled. That was what we were in it for. So, okay, that's all I got this week. Anybody have anything else?
I don't have anything.
Oh, this season's weird. I'm excited for it to get weirder.
Weirder. 2 more episodes. We'll see what happens. Guys, thanks for watching. See you next week.